Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about Japanese beauty standards. And the reason I wanted to make this video was because I see like a lot of misinformation or outdated information online. A lot of people make like a huge generalizations because it's clickbait and people will watch and people like to romanticize, and they have a lot of like strange opinions about Japan. This video is just kind of to debunk a lot of the things that you hear online and to like update, like give a 2025 update about beauty standards in Japan. But also I want to talk about like the past and how it's evolved and how it is now. I have made this mistake myself where I've generalized. I've said in the past that people think that if you look like a sick, starving Victorian child, then you're attractive in Japan. And I feel like that comes from like me working with older men, because I work the nightlife job, and men that are older prefer the women who look that way. But obviously, like, that's not all of Japan. Japanese men in general, or like society in general, is not like that. Japanese beauty standards are much more complicated and complex than that. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about Japanese beauty standards in this video. So first, I'm going to start with the history of Japan. I'm not really going to go deep into it, but a lot of the old Japanese beauty standards are actually just having really pale skin. It's always been having really pale skin. Geishas would paint their skin white, and women would paint their teeth black. Having like a hook nose was considered beautiful. A lot of the trends stay with pale skin and straight black hair, and pretty much up until like the 1990s was when like having black hair, being pale, having extremely white skin was like considered attractive. So there is this one building in Ginza that I pass by a lot, and it's the Sonoko building. It's like a health and wellness restaurant. So they sell like foods and products that are supposed to be healthy for you. And this woman on this building, I searched who she was, and she's actually like a really famous person from like the 90s who became famous because of her like extremely pale complexion, and people wanted to look very pale during this time. She's like an extreme version of like what was considered attractive, and she attributes that to like her health foods, like her products. So yeah, this woman actually had like a really sad life. Like her son, he died from an eating disorder, and she dedicated her life to make food like nutritious. Her methodology was like nutrition makes you beautiful. And this type of beauty is called bi haku, which the kanji for bi is like beautiful, and then haku is white. So this was like the peak of like the obsession with white skin in Japan. And when you go into like the late 90s, the early 2000s is when the subculture exploded. I think this was like in rebellion towards this like one beauty standard. The era that a lot of people talk about that who like Japan is like the gyaru era, the Lolita era, the subculture explosion era. Basically started in the late 90s, early 2000s, with gyaru. They have the really tan skin and the bleached blonde hair, the heavy makeup and the contacts, like all of the crazy, basically the opposite, except for like they still very thin back then. And I think even now, like a lot of people who like gyaru think like you have to be very thin to be a gyaru. But these were in response to the one beauty standard. And there's also like Lolita, which was kind of inspired by Victorian clothes, and it's very modest style that looks like dolls, like the girls look like dolls. Like gyaru and Lolita are still very popular today, for people that are into subculture, but there's like a lot of different subcultures. So like visual kei, there's the decora, there's so many different things that exploded during this time. like Harajuku fashion exploded during this time. So I think this at this point is like when things in Japan started to change a lot. Like this is when we started to see there's other beauty standards. There's not just one beauty standard. So after this decade is when we started to see more variety, more acceptance of other types of beauty. So in the 2010s, Korean beauty became really popular in Japan. So a lot of the beauty trends became influenced by Korean beauty standards. And I remember when I first moved here, like I would see a lot of girls trying to look like K-pop idols. Korean fashion became really trendy in Japan, especially Korean skincare. Like anywhere I went, there was so much Korean skincare everywhere. And this has kind of stayed as like a staple of Japanese beauty. Like dewy skin, minimal makeup, very natural girl aesthetic makeup. And this is called Sei Soke, which was natural innocent girl makeup. All these decades have like one thing in common, and it's basically that people want to look youthful. I think you can't really escape the culture which beauty standards are derived from. And Japan has always been a very patriarchal society. So men's perspective and the male gaze does influence a lot of the beauty standards in Japan. Like there's still a lot of inequality in society, and I think the male gaze does influence a lot of what is considered attractive in Japan because of this. So I think that no matter what decade it was, there's always like a strong influence on being youthful, because that is unfortunately men like young women. Because of the nightlife that I work, I do see a lot of problematic age gap relationships with like very old men who want to date very young women. So I do think like there is an obsession with Japan wanting to look as young as possible, and I think this is cuteness is very important, because cuteness and youth kind of go hand in hand. But again, like I don't really want to get into like the dark part of beauty standards. I just want to talk about like the trends in Japan right now. The decade that we're in now, the 2025 decade. So modern beauty is supposed to be real. People don't want to look extremely photoshopped. Younger people are accepting like pimples and having clear skin, and being real is like the trend now in Japan. Is like you need to be accepting of like your flaws, basically. So there is a huge shift in accepting like different beauty standards. I see more like plus size models now in Japan, and there's more acceptance towards people who are different or people who don't fit the beauty standard. And I think this is something that people misunderstand. Like when they see a lot of like actors and actresses, if you see like a lot of Japanese actresses in Japan, or like models, they tend to look like the girl next door, because they have to be relatable. Like people who work in marketing want the models to look like someone you might know, but also being pretty at the same time. So they don't choose the girl who looks like extremely perfect and like photoshopped and like a unreal model, because they want people to feel connection with the person that they're buying the products from, or they're watching on TV or the news or whatever. So people see like these advertisements and they think like this is the Japanese beauty standard, like having like a not perfect straight nose and having like cute look and just looking very average. I don't want to say like average, like it's not in a negative way, but I mean like it doesn't stand out really. People misunderstand that and they think like this is the Japanese beauty standard. Before anyone like gets mad at me, this is just my personal opinion about stuff, because I see like a lot of clickbait videos and stuff where they'll be like, Japanese people like tall hook noses, and they'll show like a picture of a Japanese girl with like a natural like nose, like a bump on her nose, and they'll be like, this is the Japanese beauty standard. And this American beauty standard is not the beauty standard, and it's kind of not true. Like like a lot of Japanese women will want to have like a taller nose bridge, so they'll have fillers done to their nose bridge, but they want their nose to be straight as well. I mean, there's like natural beauty, and then there's like plastic beauty, and I think Japanese women like both. There's not like one specific way of being beautiful, because since I work in the nightlife industry, so a lot of the women that men want to pay to go out with and to see and to talk to, these women are very done up. Like they had all the plastic surgeries. They don't look human. They kind of just look like human dolls, and they're still very thin, and they have just very different beauty standards than what I see advertised on like a magazine or like a movie or beauty products. So I think there's like a really huge generalization that people make when they talk about beauty standards in Japan. But right now we're talking about just like in general, so we're gonna talk about what is trendy right now. I think the biggest difference now compared to like the 90s is that people no longer care about bihyaku. That's considered like the old way of beauty, along with like all the old trends. People don't really care for like really heavy makeup and like contour. Even though there's like a huge, I mean, gyaru's coming back as a subculture. People who are into subcultures are definitely really popular right now, but that is not like the main general beauty standard that you see advertised in magazines. So when I'm talking about that, people don't really care for like really heavy makeup, and they don't care for bihyaku anymore. So the beauty standard now is called tomeikan, which is having clear skin, like having dewy skin, having even skin tone, like not having like dark circles or spots and stuff like that. Like that is what people prefer to aspire to now than being extremely pale. There's also like a huge movement towards fitness and health. People are really focused on their diet, and Pilates bodies are popular now. A lot of women are going to yoga, to Pilates, getting into fitness. Having like curves is considered attractive, but also being thin at the same time is still going to be like what is considered attractive in Japan. So even though they want to have like more toned bodies, they don't want to be bigger. So Pilates girl is like a universal thing, I think. I mean, it's not just America, but Japan as well is like really into like this fitness boom now. Skincare is still like a very big thing. A lot of people are doing like these advanced skincare routines, microneedling, things with technology. Like a lot of new technologies coming out for skincare. So as I mentioned before, Korean beauty was really popular in Japan. It's still there's like a leftover in this new era, but it's like a mixture of like Korean beauty standards and Japanese beauty standards together. I think that there's also something for like people want to have like a really small slim face. Having like a tiny V-shaped face is, I think, still very trendy now. But as I said, like people are more into like realness culture in Japan, where you don't have to be perfect. And I think this is like a new trend that is more popular with younger people. I think people in my age range, like late 20s, early 30s, are more into like health and fitness now. The hime cut is also back. Like it's very popular now, but it's more like toned down version of that. But it's more, I feel like Japanese beauty standards in general are more like, I don't know how to explain, but like the grays, like wearing like neutral colors, quiet luxury, or Pilates girl, like those things are popular in Japan as well. And those are becoming like the main thing in Japan, like having glass skin, going to Pilates. I still get a lot of Japanese advertisement on my phone telling me like, you should get this bra, it's gonna make your boobs smaller because having big boobs makes you look fat. or like you should get these like push-up underwear, it's gonna make your butt go up, or you should buy this shapewear, it's gonna make your hips look smaller. Like there's still like this urge or like need to like make people feel insecure about like their body. There is more though, like a sense of individualism when it comes to beauty standards now. But I do think that like the clean girl aesthetic is still the most popular thing in Japan right now. And the biggest difference that I see now from maybe 10 or 15 years ago, they don't want to buy products that are making their skin white. They want to buy products that are making their skin even or clear. A lot of the trends that I see now is like women also, but there was never like an emphasis on taking care of your beauty as an older person. But I feel like there's like a movement now to like focus on like being fashionable, being youthful at this like 60-year-old range. I think also like for the subcultures, gyaru is coming back. A lot of people are into gyaru now, but at the same time, like I see a lot of gals out in public. I see a lot of like gal brands coming back to Shibuya 109 and stuff like that. But a lot of the people that I see are other foreigners, so they're not Japanese. But I do see like in general, individualism is more accepted now. Like people are doing their own thing and like making their own style. The beauty center is not as strict as it used to be. So yeah, my point was like there's like a lot of misinformation online about like you can't do this, you can't do that in Japan, and I don't think it's true, especially if you're in Tokyo. If you're in Tokyo, like a lot of people they're used to seeing foreign people, so they don't really care much about how you're dressed. As long as you're not showing like everything, it's fine. They don't really care about showing legs, but for some reason, like if you show cleavage, people don't like it. But it's still like if you have cleavage, like you can just show it. It doesn't really matter. I just feel like a lot of the information that you see foreigners giving people about Japanese fashion is outdated. The thing that stands out to me the most is just like the skincare here. Like people really take care of their skin and they really care about having like a clean look. They want to look kind of like a celebrity. I think in Tokyo, like a lot of Japanese people will walk around wearing what you see like celebrities wear, like very casual clothes, quiet luxury items, things that are not, I mean, they do carry a lot of brand things, but I feel like that's mostly young people like to show off. So they'll buy like a lot of brand things and wear everything that's branded. But I feel like more and more I see Japanese people wearing like less branded clothes and more basics. So I think there's like a movement towards like minimalism. I mean, I know that there's like a movement towards like being more natural and accepting like flaws, but it's like, yeah, it's basically just young people that are more into this trend. I work with a lot of old men and they have very toxic points of views of what is considered attractive. But in general, I think that you should just, if you're going to come to Japan, I think you should just wear what you want to wear, especially if you're going to be in Tokyo. Tokyo is a place where people like to self-express, and you're going to see a lot of different fashion trends, a lot of different styles because it's very international. I think this is something that is a huge change in Japan of like accepting different fashions and trends. I think it's becoming more individualized. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I will try to respond. But yeah, this was just because I keep seeing like ads and I keep seeing like clickbait stuff saying like, don't do this in Japan, this is popular in Japan. And there's not one beauty standard. There's so many different subcultures. There's so many, like, people here love fashion and they love the self-expression of fashion. So you can basically find everything in Tokyo. So yeah, I will talk to you girls later.